So in this presentation, I want to talk more around adolescent male resilience. So this one's a little bit more specific, and I want to talk about one of the big reasons why young males are less resilient, or young men are less resilient than what they used to be. So there's a number of factors, but this is a really important one that's contributing to the decrease in their level of mental strength and resilience. So when we're looking at young men, one of the big things that's been noticed across the research is that there's been around a 40% reduction in testosterone in teenage boys or teenage males compared to what there was sort of 20 to 30 years ago. So the testosterone profile of a young man now is the same as someone who was sort of in their 50s to 60s in the 1980s. So this is quite alarming. And one of the reasons for this is because physical activity rates have really dropped off. So when we look at physical activity rates in young children, less than half of our children are getting the daily required amount of physical activity. And then from childhood, this is not getting any better. So when we look at the rates from childhood through to adolescents or teenagers, less than 2% of our teenagers are getting the required daily amount of exercise. So 98% of our teenagers aren't getting enough physical activity. Okay, they're too sedentary, they're not getting out enough. So if they're not being physically active, then they're most likely not being outdoors enough either. So they're not getting enough of the daylight that they need or the specific light rays that they need. They're not getting enough sort of exposure to the outdoors and a number of other different things that are going to improve their hormone profile and their cognitive function. But they're basically too sedentary. So one of the issues with this, because they're so sedentary and they're not doing enough work, their testosterone profile is decreasing as a result. And the really important thing here is that in young men, testosterone is one of the things that underlies their ability to endure or be resilient or be mentally strong, because testosterone is one of the things that is required for them to get through long duration effort or get through friction and overcome things. And a lot of people will talk about testosterone in relation to aggression and these sort of things, but it's not completely accurate, okay? It's one hormone doesn't do one thing. So it underlies a lot of their mental strength and resilience. So if we've got children who aren't doing much and then as they go into their teenage years, their activity level's declining, then their hormone level is going to be really suboptimal, and that's going to impact their level of mental strength and resilience. So it's not really unexpected that we're seeing decreases in male resilience and male mental strength because they're just not active. They're just not getting out enough. They're not doing enough. They're not setting their body up to be in this optimal function and performance to lean into friction and overcome difficulties. So really, one of the best interventions or the most effective intervention is to start getting kids out doing more, start to get them out doing some resistance work, start getting them out playing, get them involved in things rather than just sitting around on their devices, because not only is it impacting their mental strength and resilience and having a negative impact on their mental health, this level of inactivity is also the second leading cause of cancer. So when we look at mortality rates throughout the world, inactivity or sedentary behaviour is the fifth leading cause of mortality. So if we want kids that are mentally stronger, have better resilience and live longer, then we literally just have to get them outside and get them to do more activity, get them off the couch, get them out there doing some work. So there's not too much to think about. This one is pretty straightforward. If you're a teenager, you pretty simply just need to go outside and do more activity, get involved in sport, go and play with your mates or your friends, whatever it is, just get outside the house, go and do something that's making you active. If you're a parent with young children, you need to start to set the right behaviour so that activity level is at the optimal amount, or they're getting enough, or they're getting above the minimum amount of activity that they need as they become teenagers. Otherwise, you're going to create a whole host of problems, and you're going to create these issues that you then have to intervene and confront as they get older in their lives. So I hope that gives you a better understanding of some of the issues, and one of the big issues around male or teenage resilience and mental strength.